Great. Awesome. Thank you very much, guys, for joining today. I know it's a weekday, and you guys have been awesome enough to join this session. Let me introduce you to Saagar. So Saagar Kinja, he's recently became a Salesforce Einstein champion. This is in series of, you must have heard about Salesforce Analytics champion. You've heard about Salesforce Lightning champion. Similarly, we've got Salesforce Einstein champions now, and Saagar is one of them. So he's going to be today giving you a presentation about Salesforce Einstein Language. Now, this is one of the webinars that is being organized as part of the series of Impact Salesforce Saturday webinars under the New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group. So again, I really appreciated you guys joining during a weekday. And yeah, I'll hand it over to Saagar and he can, Saagar, you can take the conversation forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Atul. Warm welcome to everyone. My name is Saagar Kinja, and I'm a Salesforce Einstein champion. Salesforce Einstein champion is recently a program launched by Salesforce to uh, give a championship platform for developers, all the Salesforce Ohana. And I participated it in September, and luckily, I was one of the first 25 globally selected as an Einstein champion. So why the Einstein champion program is so important? Well, being a Salesforce Einstein champion, we get to work with the Salesforce Einstein product team, get to work, get to know more detail on the beta version of program on the product. We are given this entitlement of Salesforce Einstein champion, as well as we are given a platform again to contribute to all Salesforce Ohana. So Salesforce Einstein Championship program will be again resuming on January 2020. So I request all of you to please apply once the timelines are given, shared by uh, Salesforce. What about today? Today we will be working and discussing about the Salesforce Einstein platform API services, specifically Salesforce Einstein language. We will be going through, we will be building the basic understanding of the Salesforce Einstein API, how to connect to an Salesforce Einstein API, and how to use an Einstein API. We will be going through a walkthrough on Salesforce Einstein language, as well as uh, we will be going on the Salesforce Einstein Sentiment, specifically targeting Salesforce Einstein Sentiment here. And at the end, let's build a solution together. About me, I'm a senior consultant working as an HCL Technologies. I've recently become Salesforce Einstein champion. I'm a Salesforce PD Platform Developer 2 and Platform Developer 1 certified developer. Here are a couple of my social networking links, which I would really request to everyone to connect and share and build, grow together. About the New Delhi Salesforce group, developer group, Atul has already shared. So let's move
So
to the next. Yeah,
yeah,
Atul.
Sagar, let me take this up.
Mhm.
Right. So guys, this is one of the running slides that we have in all of the presentations to give you an idea about the New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group. So guys, again, the group was already there. I took it up in 2016 February, revived it. We had our first revival meetup. You can follow us on Twitter. You can also join the New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group using this bit.ly link, and you can join the Facebook group as well. We also have this a website with the same name where you guys went in and registered for this webinar. It is New Delhi SFDC DUG. We have tried to keep the New Delhi SFDC DUG phrase same everywhere. So it's the same for Twitter handle, it's the same for Facebook, and it is the same for our website as well. Now, this is something that we selected quite a quite a bit back in 2016, and we again, since developer and user groups are not exactly the same, they are different, but still, this is the terminology we started using, so we are just continuing with that. Sagar, we can go to the next slide. Great. So the guys, this is another one of those running sales slides that we have in all the sessions. To for those of you who don't know exactly what Salesforce Saturday and Impact Salesforce Saturday sessions are about. So Salesforce Saturday was started by Stephanie Herrera in Austin, Texas, in 2014-15, where people used to come in and meet in a coffee shop every Saturday. It was a very casual meetup where just people voluntarily came in, and they just shared their knowledge with each other. If they have any certification questions, any career problems, or any issues that they're having with any of the requirements that has been assigned to them at their work. So in India, we also started doing these kind of offline sessions, and now we have moved on to more of an online presence. Right now, Salesforce Saturday itself as a concept has gone viral. We have got more than 25 groups now over 5 continents over the world. For India, it comprises of the online knowledge sharing sessions and trailhead challenges. So that's what we're doing. And Impact Salesforce Saturday, we have renamed the Salesforce Saturdays, the online sessions, as Impact Salesforce Saturdays, and relaunched it a couple of months back. And today's session is part of that only. That is Impact Salesforce Saturday. So Impact Salesforce Saturday are specifically the online sessions that we are organizing with well-known speakers, people from the community, MVPs, Lightning Einstein analytics champions, people like Saagar Kinja, and actually anyone who has good knowledge and who's got good speaking skills, and he has something valuable to share. So again, if you have something valuable to share with us, please do reach out to us, and we can organize a session with you. Sagar, next slide. All right, this is yours, Sagar. Thank you.
Thanks, Atul. Okay, so let's get started. So aim of our today's meeting is, as we have already discussed, to understand the Salesforce Einstein platform and get an hands-on experience on Salesforce Einstein language. So there is a prerequisite with going forward. I hope all of you are aware about Salesforce, the Salesforce platform. So Salesforce basics are a must to have get started with Salesforce Einstein platform. And there is a requirement for developer org. You can use your own, any other org which you have handy. It can be your sandbox or any production, any other environment as well. So few moments of the focus and commitment. If you have knowledge of Apex, Visual Force, or Lightning components or LWC, it's good to have. Thumbs up. Knowledge of API, because Einstein platform, whatever query we do, whatever connection we establish between our org and Salesforce Einstein platform, it is through REST callout. So I I do prefer having knowledge on the API is a must, and knowledge of data set and data modeling. Here, don't go beyond big data concepts. It's just a basic understanding that what is a data set and how to do a data modeling. Uh, we'll cover few of the topics in our ongoing discussion, but these are the main prerequisite to get started. Okay. Salesforce Einstein platform. So Salesforce Einstein platform, we all are, I hope we all are aware about it. We have so many out of the box features. We have a uh, some specifically to the our cloud platform. We have Einstein for commerce, Einstein for marketing, Einstein for sales, Einstein for service. I hope most of you heard about lead scoring, right? Similar to that, we have uh, Einstein bots. We have Einstein next best quick action, right? So Einstein voice assistant, Einstein prediction builder. So these are all tools which are available for the admins, and then AI services for the developers. What in case I have my own data set, right? I have huge amount of data, and I want to create my own understanding with the prediction which is required, right? So I have AI services for developer. I want to, if I want to create uh, any specific set of solution within my company, within my org, or uh, uh, for any other, with respect to any problem statement, I have AI services for developer, Einstein Vision, Einstein Language, and Einstein Prediction services. So these Einstein platform is a very big, huge platform. It compromises of s- all machine learning algorithm models. If we talk about specifically on Vision, we have image recognition, we have object detection. If we talk about Einstein language, we have specifically machine learning algorithm models on running on the NLP, right, natural language processing, uh, to work around any problem statement. So the the Einstein platform is very vague, and I might be missing some of the features which are there. So uh, let's keep moving. Let's get started. I hope you have the basic understanding now. You have gone through a couple of online materials going on Salesforce Einstein platform, and you might be an admin or you might be a developer, but we seek a, a you know a, a roadmap to learn Salesforce Einstein platform, and get more become a become a problem solver in terms of AI. So the roadmap is very huge, right? So we we in this specific demo, we will be only targeting Salesforce Einstein language. It will be just building a basic understanding, but we will be having a couple of other discussions as well going around, all the Salesforce uh, you know Salesforce events. You will find n number of things there, so we'll be having couple of other discussions where we'll be targeting in-depth data set creation, data modeling, how to enhance the data model, right, to get better predictions, and uh, discuss various use cases where we can actually implement Salesforce Einstein platform solutions, right? Okay, so I hope you are aware about the Salesforce Einstein products, but just to give a brief, we have divided it into two parts: Einstein Vision and Einstein Language. Through the Einstein Vision, we harness the power of image recognition to solve an array of use cases, and using pre-trained classifiers or custom models. So Salesforce has given a couple of uh, pre-built data models to us so that we can use them and get an understanding about the solution which we can plan through it. So we have couple of data models which are already created with respect to Einstein Vision. um, Mainly we have Einstein image classification and Einstein object detection, and we, on the other hand, we have Einstein language. Einstein language is uh, a concept where we leverage the power of natural language processing to analyze the intention and sentiment to better understand the customer needs. So it can be customers need, it can be internally we would like to navigate something, right? We would like to uh, navigate certain discussions, route certain discussions to uh, uh, internally to other respective support guys, right? So it can be used there as well. So there are n number of solution. We just have to think about it, and we can build a solution around it. So we have Einstein intent where where we actually try to understand the intent behind a statement or unstructured text given by any uh, given through a chat or email or through any mode. So we analyze that unstructured or structured statement, text, and we get to know what the meaning behind, true intention behind that statement is. So a live example is if I ask Siri, right, Apple voice assistant, that should I bring an umbrella to my office? So the attention behind it is I'm asking, will it rain today, right? So that is a very common example of intention. And similarly, Einstein sentiment, it also runs around the NLP concept. Here, if an ongoing discussion with any email going on with my customer, or I'm having I'm raising a query to a support guy about the feedback of the delivery, right? So those all discussions can be analyzed, and through that discussion I can get the detail that how the conversation, uh, uh, what the user is trying to say. The conversation is going in a negative direction, is it going in a positive direction, or is it going neutral? Based on that, I can decide my next set of statement, or my next set of actions on, around it, and then take it forward. Some common terms which we will be going through, which we'll be using throughout our journey in our Einstein platform. We have dataset. Dataset are nothing but the training data. It consists of input data and uh, output that is label. So input is nothing but the examples. So we have a set of examples and we have a set of labels. Then we have labels. Labels are nothing but a group of similar data inputs in a data set which can be recognized. So we have a kind of a mapping here. We have a input data, and then we have a label. So input with examples, with certain level of examples, we would be aggregating them into a single label. In It's kind of a classification. We have a model. Model is a machine learning concept, a construct that is used to solve a classification problem. So when we have a data set, right, we send it across to the Salesforce Einstein platform, where the machine learning algorithm, they convert the data set and into a model, where which model can be then used for the predictions, right? So before going into the predictions, we have training. So when we construct a model, we train the model to uh, with some classification rules. So processing of creating a data model and classification rules. So these are all decided by the machine learning algorithm models, which train our data set, which train the data set to take us to the journey of creating a data model, and then comes the prediction. So we get the final result as a prediction. I hope you might be having a couple of queries when we are going through. So please raise a comment. We will be targeting your queries either in the end of the discussion, or we can have some questions in between our ongoing presentation as well. So we have a certain prerequisite which we need to start using the Salesforce Einstein platform. We have to sign up for an account, that is api.einstein.ai /sign up. So we have to go there and we have to sign up into, let me just open this link. Okay, so I can sign up using a Salesforce, and I can sign up using using Heroku here. So if I have account in Heroku, I can do login into Heroku, and then I can sign up into Heroku. If you are used to with Heroku, uh, Salesforce Einstein platform can be directly used through Heroku as well. So you guys can use this option as well. We can sign up using a Salesforce environment as well here. So as I've logged in already, so when I click on sign up, email is already registered. So email will be already registered. So that in that case, I will receive the such messages. But uh, if you are if you click on the sign up using Salesforce, it will take you to the login page of Salesforce where you can log in and then you can sign up into the API instance. Okay, then find your key. So once you sign up, then you have to generate a key which will be then used for the authentication. So uh, just to give a brief about the authentication process, we are using JWT based REST call out, OAuth. So we are making REST callouts using JWT based token. So I hope you are aware about it, but if not, then don't worry. We have certain utilities which you can directly use inside uh, your uh, your classes, and then you can make the callouts to Salesforce Einstein platform. So it's very handy. We'll share the links of them as well. Then to make the callouts, to make the connection established, right, we either use curl. So curl is not I hope if you are aware about the REST callouts, you are aware about the curl. So it comes pre-installed in Linux and OS X, but if you are talking about Windows, you have to install it. Then installation link is already given there. um, and then there are certain utilities for our Salesforce org. So if you do not want to use curl, if you directly want to make establish connection established through your Salesforce org, you can use the source code, which is I have shared the link, the GitHub link as well here. Then you have to generate a token, and then if a token has been generated and somehow you want to regenerate the token, you can reset the token as well. Salesforce Einstein Language. As I've given a brief about it in the previous slide, we leverage the power of natural language processing to analyze the intention and sentiment to better understand your customer needs. Salesforce intent. As the example, as I've shared the example, if I want to analyze the text from emails, chat, or web forms, what I can do is I can just pass the text whatever format it is in. I can pass the format, the unstructured text into convert into add into a JSON format into a REST callout, and then I can submit it to Einstein platform, and then I can get the the result, the prediction that will help me to find the intention behind the intent. It sounds a little complicated, but when we'll be going ahead with the live example, you guys will understand that how easy it is once we have everything placed in our org. So once all the prerequisites are are achieved and we actually make a call out, it becomes very easy automatically. Some examples, if we want to determine what products prospects are interested in and send customer inquiries to the appropriate salesperson, or to understand customer posts to provide personalized self-service in communities. So these are a couple of examples which we where we can actually use Salesforce Einstein intent. Then coming to the Einstein sentiment, it is used to classify the sentiment of a text into a positive, negative, or a neutral class to understand the feeling behind the text. So if I said yes, if I've given a bad review of a product, what I can do is I will get a notification into the service agent console immediately if a bad a review has been given on a product, right? So imagine I've given a review, the service was very bad, and my text, whatever I've entered into the comment section, will be then sent for the analysis to the Einstein sentiment, and I will receive a respective result. And based on the prediction, I will write another logic which will update update a certain notification into the uh, service console for the service agent. So it will help me to provide a proactive service by helping dissatisfied customers first, or extending promotional offers to the satisfied customers. Uh, Salesforce has given a pre-built data model for everyone to use and get the sentiment analysis. So we the data model ID is sorry, my bad. The model ID is community sentiment, and it can be used as a variable when you are making a call out to the Einstein platform. Okay, so this is step zero. Apart from knowing some common terms, going through the prerequisites, yes, we definitely need to understand few more things. And this is the core and the foundation of Einstein platform. It it is independent of Einstein language or Einstein vision. You have to follow this step zero, that for building for basically not building a but creating a data set, gather all the data, classify the data, and create a data set. So it is used inside Einstein image recognition or object detection, and similarly, it is being used in Einstein language as well. So it is a foundation building step, and it has to be followed, and this will determine the quality of the predictions which we are getting. So this is the most time consuming step in the whole process. We define the date labels that we want the model to output when text is sent into the model. So if you focus on an example which I've shared right in the below, need to reset my password. So this is an example. What does it means? What does it signify is password help. So password help is nothing but a label. So what is recommended is always have more than around more than 100 on around 1000 examples per the labels. So we have certain limitations, certain best practices recommendation to be followed. So the source of truth for that is always metamind.readme.io. So you guys can follow this URL, and you will find whatever upgrades, whatever recommendation, whatever changes which have been, with respect to Einstein platform. You will always find the latest details in this link. Few of the recommendations are: the data should be good, and there should be lots of data. Uh, Write and correctly label data with accuracy. So if we have a certain examples, and those examples should be linked with the labels with higher accuracy, uh, with respect to the number of examples. This will help us to reduce the number of the basically uh, the number of garbage in values which we might receive inside our data model, right? So this is a very important step which we have to these are our recommendations which we have to follow. And once we have the data with us, with labels and the data, uh, with labels and the examples, the main the journey starts with create the data set. And the step two is train the data set, and step three is the predictions. So the most time consuming step is again step zero, that is classifying all the data. And then we have create the data set. In the create the data set, uh, we have different options, right? So we can uh, we can send a file to the Salesforce Einstein platform in a CSV format. We can send a format of JSON. We can send a tab separated file as well to the Salesforce Einstein platform in order to create a data set. So if you guys will focus on the first step here, right? We have a couple of variables here: authentication, authorization, bearer. So here the token will be mentioned, which we will be generating in the prerequisites. And then we have cache control, no cache. Then we have content type, multi-part form data. So this will be again followed in all of the other steps as well. You can notice that. And then we have path. So path is nothing but the uh, the location where the file, the data which we have created, the set of the mapping of the examples to the labels are created, that is stored as a on the location of paths. And then we have type. So what we are trying to do here, it has a type of text intent. So this, creating a data set example which we are seeing, the curl script which we are seeing, is having the type of text intent. And then the URL. So URL, language slash datasets slash upload. For vision, it has a different URL. In vision, we have an image and object, right? So it has a different URL for each of them. Similarly, for language, this is a generic URL. You will find it in sentiment as well. So then once you uh, make a call out to the Einstein platform with these variables, you will receive a JSON format with ID of the transaction which you have made to the call out, right? To the Einstein platform, and name, and then what is created, updated, and label summary, whatever summary we have, right? And then total examples. So here comes the important part. We have total examples. So how many examples we have right now versus the labels. So this will be again the aggregated values will be sent us back in a response from the Einstein platform. And then we have all the other status as well: status, type, object. Status message is uploading, right? So you will find that status message is uploading, but uh, i- i- if the data set has been created, right, inside the Einstein platform, it has a different status message. So there is an another there is another set of parameters which are being sent to the Einstein platform to get the latest status of the data set, whether it is being created, whether it is still uploading. All those things we can have all the communication we do, it is through REST callouts, but it does follows different parameters here. Then training the data set. Once a data set has been created, then we train the data set. To create a to train a data set, there are a couple of variables again we have, similar to what we see in the previous one. Bearer token, it will be always used in the same format. Cache control, content type, same. And then name. So you guys can see, right, case routing model. So this specific name which you see right here, you will find what name which we are actually creating it through. So you will the data model, data set which we are trying to create, right? So that is whole mentioned in here as a variable. Then data set ID. So data set ID, you guys can see, right? It is what we receive on the from the data set ID. So dataset ID is the same which we have received in a response from creating the dataset in the previous transaction. And once we make the call out with language, with train, then we receive a model ID with respect to it. So if you focus on the fourth last row here, right, then you will find the model ID, which is being then used in further predictions. So you will get a data set ID, then you will get a model ID from here, and that model ID you will use from here to make a prediction. So if you focus on the step 3, all the other most of the parameters are the same. You will be using the model ID uh, to make a hit to that specific model ID, and then document how is my package being shipped, right? So here is your unstructured text which you want to get analyzed, and you want to get the intent, so it has a different URL. All the URL depends on the type of transaction which we are doing here. Then you will receive again a JSON format uh, response from Einstein platform, consisting of the probabilities. There will be labels, so whatever, so now I think you can relate with what data set which we, what data set which we initially created. The combination of examples and labels are coming up here. So labels are something which are then received as an output with respect to the probability which is predicted per our text which we have sent in for the prediction. So the label is a very important. That is the reason we have to ensure that the label should be having the higher accuracy with respect to the example which we are actually sending. So this is a couple. These three are the steps which are generally used to make to make a prediction out of Einstein platform. There are a couple of others. There are a couple of other uh, callouts which are again being used inside the Einstein platform to, for example, we use certain certain call out to check the latest status of the training data. So if the data training is in progress, we'll get the status of that train the data set in here. You can see, right, status is queued, the fourth row from the top queued. So right, so if it is succeeded, right, then it means the data set has been created. Now I can use for prediction. Similarly, I can check how many transactions to the Einstein platform are remaining. So by default, Salesforce gives us around 2,000 free call outs transaction, which we can make to Einstein platform. And to if we are building a solution, if we are trying to learn something, we have 2,000 transactions. So um, we have a certain call out again to specifically get those details. Similarly, we have certain other steps which we follow to get the latest status while creating the data set. So there are a couple of other steps, but these three are the primary. So uh, I hope you must be having some questions. Please comment it out. We'll discuss those in detail in our uh, and well, we will be completing the session. Okay, now let's get started with the demo. Uh, in demo, we'll be targeting how admins can leverage Salesforce Einstein platform from day one, and how developers can leverage Salesforce Einstein platform from day one, replicate all steps in the live environment, and lightning model builder, how to generate data set from existing objects. So if we have an object, right, and we want to get detail from from detail or data classification from that object, specific object, then we can get it through lightning model builder. It is again given by we have a source code for that as well. And there is an app exchange app available on the app exchange which we can use to get all these detail. Then understanding various other processes. Um, Now coming to the Einstein platform. So first of all, let me take you to the Einstein usage. So as I've shared, I have around 2,000 free uh, uh, transactions which I can make to Salesforce Einstein platform per month. So 2,000 per month for me, available for free. I can use them to get, if I'm working on some solution or if I want to understand something. Yeah. So let me just reload it, and here you can see it is still there as in 2000. This is an Einstein AI framework. I've used again. This is my own kind of version. If you will use the source code, which I've already shared, or you might found in couple of in the network, or if you will install the Einstein, the app on the from the App Exchange, you will find a different version of it, but they all end with completing functionality. So don't worry about it. If you are using it any from any place, you will find the same uh, results. Okay, so I have couple of things here right now with me. You can see in dataset and models, I have a couple of dataset with me. One is already trained, right? I can see a train button here, and I can see a retrain button. So I can retrain my data data model which I've created here. And here you can see, right, I can train this data set. And this is again, I have a different data set here as account industry by name, right? So there are a couple of data set I have. Then coming to the step one, this is step two. I'm really sorry, I just directly took you to the step two. uh, this is step one, data set creation. So before going to the step one, what we have to do is uh, we have to follow it, follow the step zero, that is creating the data, uh, a classification of the data set, comparing, creating a combination of the examples versus the labels. So for that, we will be using language model builder. Mhm. Okay. So we'll be using an for model type as an intent here, right? So we will be using, let's use account. So you can use, you can see, right, w- what text field you want to classify. So this will be working as our examples, and this will be working as our what we say uh, labels, right? So step zero, the core foundation. Again, I'm highlighting this is only building or classification of the data from examples versus the label. So there are so many recommendation to it. I will share it, I can share it across to you, but building the foundation is the most important step. So currently we are using language model builder, we are having a developer org, so data might be very less, but let's see what we have right now. So we'll try to have a billing country, and then we have the account type and get the file. So you guys can see, right, I have download, preview, create dataset. So this language model builder is again available on the App Exchange. It is available with the source code. Admins can directly go into the App Exchange and they can use it through their, they can install it in their org, and then they can use it from day one. Developers, no need to worry, we have a source code for it, and you will find the source code already in the network. But if not, then we will be sharing it across to you. You can have the source code inside your org, and then use all these the complete platform from day one. Now let's create a data set or preview. Okay, so because it in an Excel, we cannot preview it. Let me just, okay, it's already downloaded. uh Okay, so here it is. Here we have the account type by billing country, right? Okay, so we have very less amount of data here. That's not the recommendation. So let me just go back and try to create some other data set. Okay, shipping city. City can be different, yeah. Still, Hmm. Okay, that's really not the right way to do it, because we are we do not have more data right now in the developer org right now. So that is the reason we are seeing this trouble, and we cannot actually install, have much data in the developer org. So that's again a limitation we have. um, Let me just use account name to account type or industry this time. Let's see what we have. Okay, it's using, I think it's just uh, okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use an existing data model which which is a known example in Trailhead as well. So let me use that first. Let me go here, right? So assuming now the data, we have the data, the classification, the combination of examples and label. There are certain recommendations with it, right? We need to have high accuracy label mapped to the examples. Then the quality and the amount of data should be it should be optimal, right? We should be having high amount of data. The quality should be great. So assuming the step one has been completed, we will be moving to the Einstein framework, where we'll be creating the data set. So you guys can see, right, there is an already file URL which has been added here. So you can go to the Einstein AI here, and here you will find this specific file already tagged to there. So this is being used everywhere inside Trailhead and everywhere. So you can just use download it from there, right? um, okay, there you go, you can download it. And once you download it, then let's go and upload the file from here. uh, Case routing intent. Now let me upload the file. Done. So once I upload the file, dataset has been created, right? So now let me come to the refresh, the set and models, and refresh it. Okay, this is the data which we have just uploaded, right? So this will be used inside the data set, and we will be getting a data model based on this data. So as you can see, this data is going around a a communication between a kind of a e-commerce website. So where I need to change my billing information, it has been tagged to billing. If I want to reset my password, it is tagged to password help. Similarly, there are a couple of other labels with respect to, we have examples, right? So you guys can see, right, now I have a new data set which is here, right? It has examples 26 for order change. So which is of course not a high amount, but it will work it for now. Billing 24. So we have couple of examples, and we have couple of one two we have 5 labels here. In model section, I cannot see anything because no model has been created as of now. No model is in under process. So as I've shared before to you, that there are so many ways, there are so many other transactions which we do through the Einstein platform to make sure we get the right status. Or if you want to delete any existing data set, we can delete it from here. So if I click on here, right, I can delete a data set from here. It goes into the queue, so I won't see the changes right away, but it will be deleted. So it is queued now, and it will take some time, and it will get deleted now. And so what I can do is I can train this model. The second, that is the second step after creating the after creating the data set. Now let's train it. Once I train it, I will receive a model ID, right? So with the model ID, I will make the next set of predictions. So if I want to get the uh, okay, so if I want to get the latest status on the model, right, I will get it from there. If I want to get uh, if want to make any predictions, I will get it from here. So you guys can see, right, the model ID is in progress and it is in a running state, right? So that is the reason I'm seeing here is in 0, because it is in running state, it is not yet been completed. So let me just refresh it once again. Here you can see, right, there is a data model here which which has been created in past, so we will be referring them in our current transaction. You can see the progress is 100% and the status has succeeded. Now coming to the matrices part, so this is something where we need to focus more, because this is more related to the status 0, building the core foundation. So it will have certain notification. Not all it model types have all information. For example, confusion matrices are not available for image detection, which is absolutely right. They, because image detection are not, you know, they don't require it. Similarly, uh, so this is an matrices which we can see, right? Then we have more details around it, right? So it totally depends on um, what we have. It totally depends on what we have created from the step 0. I know there might be a lot of questions around it. We will be discussing all of the questions, but this is all, around the step 0, which we receive, which we, we get more detail based, once the data model has been created, it has been thrown out from the machine learning algorithm, right? So we get to know more detail around it now from this matrices section. Okay. Oh, my bad. Then let me go again to here. This is step 2 now. Data models have been created. We have data model ID. Now let's get some predictions around it. Step 2 is, again, we have a prediction right now. There is some data model which has been here, right? So let me go from the Excel and let me see if I want to change my password, right? So these are all examples, but I will not use any existing the examples which have been given. So what I will use it, I can, uh, uh, let's say, okay. So can you reset my password? Of course, I'm asking for password help, right? So this is 100%. And if we see the probability, right, the default JSON structure which we receive here, we have it 99 point blah, 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 right? Then billing, it gives some something. So it all depends on the step 0. And in terms of percentage, it shows as 100%. That is a round off figure of the probability which we see here. And in the bar chart is just a different UI presentation we have. Now the tricky part is, if I want to hide my username, so this is not related to anything which is mentioned here, right? But let me just send it across to it. And hide my username, it is not at all connected with the order change, right? But still it is somehow connected, shown up here. So the model is assuming that what we are trying to do here is, uh, we are trying to, hide my username from the order change. It can be an assumption, right? But if I'm hiding my username, it's not precisely what I'm expecting from the unstructured text which I've sent, right? So these all examples are set to be defined in the, taken under consideration, set to be defined in the step 0, which we do in while classification of the data set. So, and because whatever we is kind of a simple funda, garbage in, garbage out, right? So if we give something to it, right, we will get same thing out of it. So similar to that, step 0 is a very important again. And that's how the all the different matrices, are defined from it. Okay, and coming to the Einstein sentiment, Einstein sentiment prediction, we have a pre-built community sentiment. So this is something which I've shared initially, that Salesforce does offer us a pre-built community sentiment. And don't worry, this gets updated by Salesforce after some time. This is a generic one, right? But if we differ, right, we want to create something else for us, then we have an option for that as well. But this is something which is pre-built and given by Salesforce. So let's assume and use this one. So sentiment is nothing but uh, to understand what, if my statement is 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 suggesting that our conversation or our deal, our ongoing opportunity, or any feedback which I'm giving is negative, is positive, or it is going neutral. And based on whatever whatever sentiment prediction predicts, right, I can align the next best item. So for an example, if I'm receiving a bad response from a customer, and the customer is a very valuable, right, in past for me. So if I want to give some add-on, right, some coupons to him, so I can plan those strategies based on the recent feedback received by that customer. So okay, so yesterday meeting was not good. I will come back to you in some time. Okay. So this is something which is going more of a neutral, right? We have a 57% of 3% neutral. So we have a 40% it is in negative and 50% is in positive, right? So again, I specifically added this term because this is an unstructured text which complicates the situation here. So if I remove it, right, and I send it across to sales, or still it is giving me 51%. That's And if I will come back to you in some time, it is giving 54% positive. So it all depends on the data model which have been created previously. So this is a pre-built community sentiment. So this is how the data model which was created by which is pre-built, and the responses which we receive are shown up here. So I know it's not relevant to what expected here, but it totally 100% depends on the step zero again, which is classification, creating a combination of the labels with the examples. Okay, so I think that's all from my side. It's already 2 minutes up. I know I took a little long here, and this is again a demo here. We are already 2 minutes up. So this is again a different example which I created previously in last year. It runs around Salesforce Einstein platform. We have used Einstein image recognition, language and sentiment here around to basically get the NLP from the user, right? So this is an user, and this is a bot, kind of a bot which use the Einstein intent to understand what user is trying to say. So if I want to search an account, it can search an account, right? So if you see here, please enter the account name. So test. These are all Apex logics which we have added in the background. These are not actual intent or sentiment which we have used. Intent is basically used here to divert the communication, the conversation, and get a prediction what user is trying to say, what user wants from here, right? And then we go around it, and then we add other features from the with the help of Salesforce Lightning design, the Salesforce Lightning design system. That is we have used Salesforce Lightning build Salesforce Lightning component around it. And then we have used different solutions around it as well, that if you want to search any specific product, right? So if I want to show my funnel, so imagine a way, if I want to show my funnel, right, and I have added it as in comment on this bot, it will give me these results. So this pretty cool, right? means understanding the NLP and giving me the result back. This actually uh, a use case where example where we can actually use Salesforce Einstein platform. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Sagar, for this informative session. This was really pretty interesting. Again, the kind of things that you've told us, that you've showed us today, frankly, uh, we don't necessarily get to work on these things on our normal projects. So this is really good. The new things coming out from Salesforce. All right, guys. So we are going to open up for questions. We're going to take questions. We're going to have another 10 to 15 minutes for these questions, and then we'll go from there. So, Sagar, there's already a question from Meghna. Can you see that in the chat window? Sagar, can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me, Atul?
Yes, Sagar. Thank you very much. So, Sagar,
Yeah.
we are going to take up some of the questions by the audience. We are going to take another 5 to 10 minutes. I hope you have time.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, all right, great. So, can you see the chat window? We have already got one question from Meghna.
Okay. Let me just check it. Yeah. Okay. So Meghna's question is, what exactly train data set does, and how it's different from create data set. Okay. So that's a very confusing terms, I know, and the difference is create data set is the step one, and step two is the training data set. So now let's come back to the step one here, which is creating the data set. So to understand the creating the data set, we have to understand what data we have right now, like in terms of classified data, right? So we have a combination of labels, and we have a combination of examples, right? So now we have this handy with us, right, in an Excel format, or in a JSON format, right? Now we have to we have to create a data set from it into the Einstein platform. So what we do is, this data which we have in a format with us, we send it across to Salesforce, and then it creates a data set. So we get a data set ID from it, right? We get a data set ID, and so that data set which we have now available on the Einstein platform, that we data set, we use it, we train the data set, and we get a model ID from there. So the format which we have right now, the classified data we have right now, is is basically a data set when we submit it to the when we submit it to the Salesforce National platform, and we get the data set ID. And the second part is, then we train the data set. Then that is the second call out we make. So does that answer your question, Meghna? Okay, thanks, Meghna. It was a good session. Thanks, Deepak.
All right, guys. If you don't have any more questions, we are going to just wrap this up. Any more questions, guys? You can just put it in the chat window. Nope. All right. So Sagar, I guess no more questions. So Sagar, thank you very much for the session. really appreciate it. We want more people like you to come forward and you know help us organize these sessions. We are trying to be as consistent as possible with these sessions. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not, but we're trying to be as consistent as possible. All right, thank you very much for joining in, guys. It's if you guys don't join, there's no point of us organizing these sessions. So thank you very much for joining the session. And thank you, Saga. Thank you for being a presenter and coming up with such a beautiful topic. All right, and
Thanks,
guys,
Atul.
yeah, and guys, we'll be sharing the PPT as well as the presentation recording on the same page on the New Delhi SFDC DUG website where you registered for the session. So we're going to make sure that as soon as these recordings are up and running, we send out a notification to you as well. Awesome. All right, guys. Again, happy Halloween. I don't know how many of you are going to celebrate, but yeah, it's a holiday on the on the US side and pretty much entire Europe as well. So it's a holiday for me as well. So I'm pretty happy today. And yeah, thank you for joining in. All right, Sagar. Thank you very much. See ya. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Yep.